But if price continues higher, then guys, you have to be patient for price to take out these highs here. All right, let's see price create a new higher high, breaking above this zone. Then we want to catch it on the pullback. All right, so on the pullback, of course, you go to a much lower time frame, like the 15 minutes or 30 minutes time frame, so that you can get a tighter stop loss below. Then the bullish target will be so welcome back, guys. You can notice how price broke above, came back for a retest, and if you had switched to the 15 minutes time frame, you would have gotten the entry around here, pinpoint perfect, right? So that is that for last week. What should we be looking at going into next week? So, as a matter of fact, price on this 4 hour time frame is also coming for an effective pullback, and we are beginning to see price push up to the upside. So, guys, going into next week, I would like to see price continue into this area here, 2,483.667. All right, so that would be my next target. However, should price continue dropping to the downside, I like to give bullish and bearish scenario. The bearish scenario is not likely going to happen, but still we shouldn't rule anything out of the market, right? So for a bearish scenario, I think I'd like to see price break below this area. It's going to be a short move to the downside. So I'd like to see price break below this area here, which is around 2,414.768. So if price breaks below it, then I will go to a much lower time frame, like the 15 minutes time frame, to catch an early entry, right? Just capitalize on this small move to the downside. As a matter of fact, there's a trend line that is coming on this 4 hour time frame that is coming from the bottom here, 1 2. So that will be my target. If we go to the 15 minutes time frame, after price must have broken down below 2,414.768, retest it on the 15 minutes time frame, then my target will be this trend line and this 2,390.827 area. All right, so those are my bullish and bearish scenario bets. I am more bullish than bearish. I would like to see price continue from this point all the way to the upside. So the bearish scenario is just a plan B. All right, so the next on my list is USDJPY. So I'll go to the 4 hour time frame. What I'd like to see is I'd like to see price still pull back some more. Then I'd like to see price effectively pull back into this 0.5 or 0.6 fib level. Give me my confirmation, because of course you should have a confirmation. I don't know what yours is, but at let's we have our own confirmation. So I'll wait for that confirmation and then trade into our overall target, which is 151.394. So you can see how price played out perfectly. Our stop loss was intact and our target was smashed, and price actually continued to the downside, and 2.9% was made if you were risking 1%, right? So we got almost 3R on that trade. Now that is that. Going into next week, what should we be expecting, guys? First of all, it's a new month. Happy new month, traders. Let's look at what we look like on the monthly time frame. On the monthly time frame, you can see this solid bearish engulfing candle on the monthly time frame. Super bearish price action last month. So this month, I'll be expecting further decline until we come into 140.000 round number, right? Then on the weekly time frame, you can see for the past 4 weeks we've been super bearish, especially last week. So sellers are actually dominating the market currently. So my target remains 140.000. So let's look at the daily time frame. Price has been too impulsive. On this daily time frame, you can see at some point we have to go for a solid pullback, and now the price is even trading on this support level that has been tested multiple times. Remember, this is the daily time frame, and this level has been supported multiple times historically. Now price is back there, so price may stall, then probably go for the pullback before we continue to the downside. I'd like to see that happen. Actually, I'd like to see that happen. But if that doesn't play out and price continues, let's say price next week breaks below this zone here, let me even put a line there for easy identification, breaks below 145.903. What I would like to see, especially due to the fact that we are coming off the back of an impulsive move from the upside to the downside, I'd like to see a proper break, not a shallow break, a proper one. All right. a solid break so that we can have a deeper retracement, then this is where I'll switch to the lower time frames like the 15 minutes time frame, you understand, to catch an entry with my stop loss above 146.539, and my target, swing target, will be 140.000. All right, so but I would like to see a pullback into 151.394 before price breaks below 145.903. So if that happens, if we see a solid daily candlestick, bullish candlestick close above here, then we may effectively go for that pullback at least into these two areas here, which is 150.757 and 151.394. All right, that's what I would like to see. So bullish to bearish scenario, or price breaks properly below the zone, go for a pullback, catch it on a lower time frame and sell into 140.000. Right, so that is that on USDJPY. The next on my list is DXY. Number one, I'd like to see price break above, create a new higher high, catch it on the pullback, and then our bullish target will be 104.808. So you can see how price broke above, came into that zone and sold off massively to the downside. All right, thanks to NFP. But let's look at how we closed for last month. This is a new month, right? Let's see how we closed for last month. So last month we can see this solid bearish engulfing come to the downside. Actually, price has been choppy, so there's nothing even guaranteed here, because we've been seeing scenarios whereby we have one bullish candle, then the next month is a bearish price action. The next month again will be another solid bullish month. The subsequent month will be another solid bearish month. So I'm not even going to be surprised if we are bullish this month, because price has been acting wild on dollar, on DXY, for the past couple of years. I think since January last year, since around here, right? So now let's look at the weekly price action. Thanks to NFP, price blasted below this zone. If you've been following my weekly analysis, I've been waiting for this to happen. I've said we have lower highs, lower highs here, but we are yet to create a new lower low until last week. So now that we have a new lower low, let's see what we look like on the daily time frame. But before we go to the daily time frame, let's go back to the weekly time frame. So I think price will continue to this downside here. That's my long-term view on DXY. I think price will continue to 101.653 on DXY, but we may see a stall around here, around 102.693, maybe go for a pullback before we continue into 101.653. All right, I'm not seeing any bullish scenario right now on DXY. I'm super bearish on DXY at the moment. All right, so going into next week, two things may happen. We may either continue pushing lower, which is what may most likely happen, into 102.693 before we go for a pullback into either this region or this region. All right, into this region, which is 103.701. All right, before we continue lower, or maybe a deeper pullback before we continue lower. All right, but remember, my target remains here. However, if price continues lower and breaks below 102.693 without going for a pullback, breaks below it, then I would like to see a proper break, then a deep pullback into that same 102.693. Then our target will be 101.657. All right, so that is my view on DXY. Is there anything to mention on the 4-hour time frame? I think the daily time frame covers it all. So either of two things, either we'll pull back into here before we continue bearish, or we may just continue bearish into 102.693. All right, so but I'd actually prefer to see a pullback into 103.664. all right, I'd actually like to see that in the early part of next week before we sell off. But well, price may also just continue lower into 102.693. So that's my bias on DXY. The next on my list is GBPUSD. So price may pull back into this zone. If we are going to continue selling to that zone that I pinpointed from the higher time frame, then we may have to be patient for price to pull back into here. Then if we get our execution strategy, then we want to get in here. All right, then our target, if we sell from there, if we sell from here, will be here. Let me put a line there for easy identification. Our target will be 1.28156. Welcome back, guys. You can see how GBP USD played out perfectly. Went back into 1.28871 like I mentioned, and traded straight into the zone. We even blasted below it and traded even to a lower level. All right, you should be able to pinpoint these levels and all of those good stuff, except if you are yet to take our mentorship program, which we are just starting next week Monday. So do yourself a favor, pay for any of our mentorship program and take your trading to the next level. Well, that is that. What should we be expecting going into next week? Now that DXY is super bearish, we are not seeing the effect all that much on GBP USD, but it's all good because if DXY continues lower, GBP USD has no option than to continue higher. What's wrong with my internet connection? All right, so my network is restored. But before I look at what we should be looking at going into next week, let me just delete all of these levels so that we can have a very, very clean chart. All right, perfect. So for GBP USD to go bullish, for GBP USD to go higher, remember I've even been bullish. All these bearish scenarios were all just pullbacks on the higher time frame. Remember, my target has always been 1.31428. All right. So, but going into next week, I'd like to see GBP USD continue higher, but it's advisable not to buy yet. I usually like to see market commitment, right? So I'd like to see a change in market structure because if you look at price action, price has been super bearish, creating new lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower low. So I'd like to see a new higher high created to create a change in market structure, which will obviously be higher than all of these price levels looking left. So when that happens, I would like to catch it on the pullback, my stop loss below, and my take profit, my initial take profit will be back to this highs here, which is 1.29929, or let's make it a round figure, 1.3. All right, let's make it a round figure. So 1.30000. All right. So that is what I would like to see on GBP USD because we're still in a bearish market structure, even though we've established the fact that DXY is super bearish right now, which should mean GBP USD trading to the upside. I really don't like trading that way. I like to just trade what I see, current reality. I don't want to trade based on assumption that, hey, this is doing this, so this should be doing that. All right, that's a recipe for disaster. You can anticipate it, but only trade it when it is confirmed. All right. So I'd like to see a new higher high created here, a pullback, then an impulsive move to the upside into 1.3 0000 and all of that. All right. So that is that on GBP USD. The next on my list is Euro USD. Price may pull back into this region. All right, price may pull back into this region before we sell off again. Now, if we sell off, our target will now be these lows here. Let me put a line there for easy identification, which is 1.08073. So welcome back, guys. Yes, price came this close to our entry, but it really didn't get into our zone. I think it was because I really didn't even plot this zone properly. Yeah, if I had done it properly, we would have captured that zone. But it is what it is, right? At the end of the day, price made its way into our target. That is all that matters before NFP took everything to the moon. So next week, just like what I did on DXY, I'll be expecting to see price come into 1.09429 before we see any form of pullback, all right? Then my main target for now is 1.09928 on Euro USD. That's my main target. So even though we'll go for a mini pullback, let me delete all of these things so that we can have a clear chart. So let's go back to the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, let's refine this zone. Sorry, I'm trying to do this on the spot today, so please forgive me. I think we still have breathing room into this trend line above here. One touch, two touch. So yes, I think price is coming in for the third touch of that daily trend line. And if price breaks out of this daily zone, which is what's that daily zone? Let me even put a line there, which is 1.09772. If price breaks above it, then I'll switch to a much lower time frame to catch the pullback, and my next target will be here. which is 1.11079. And then if price takes that out, our overall target for now will be 1.12780. For now, I don't have any bearish scenario on Euro USD thanks to what DXY is doing. DXY is super bearish now, so I am more bullish on Euro USD. Then the last on my list for this week is EURJPY. EURJPY is trading in no man's land. Meanwhile, let's look at how we closed for last month. Super bearish engulfing candle. My next target is around 148.526. That's a long-term target anyways. I'm not seeing price is just going to go all the way to that target. So along the way, we are going to be taking profits. So on the weekly time frame, this is my target 154.920, and I think price will definitely come into that area. So if I go to the daily time frame, woof, too impulsive, right? But before I continue, remember last week price was trading around here, and I rightly predicted this drop to this downside. My target was actually this area 164 and 163 area, and as you can see, price continued trading lower. All right, so going into next week, what should we be expecting? Well, there's nothing interesting I can see for now, except maybe if I put a zone around here. Okay, put another one here, drag this down, put this here. All right, so just like USDJPY, price needs to go for a pullback at some points. Is this where that pullback is going to happen, guys? Don't ask me because I don't know. But if it happens, at least I know where to get into that sell, right? I don't trade this, but if I were to trade this, I know where to recapture the sell. That's the most important thing, all right? So my selling zone will be between 164.830 and 163.922, all right? If price goes for a pullback before trading to the downside, all right? My targets for now, but my bearish target for now is 154.920, all right? That's my bearish target. But if price fails to go for that pullback, and let's say price wants to just come into this target before it goes into any form of pullback, then I would like to see a proper break, a proper one, because it's too impulsive to go for a shallow break. So I would like to see a proper break below 159.492, a proper break below it. Remember, I'm doing this analysis on the daily time frame. So a proper break on of this 159.492, then we'll wait for the pullback on the 15 minutes, 30 minutes, 1 hour time frame, or 4 hour time frame, depending on your preference. All right. So wait for the pullback, then we'll trade into this zone here, which is 154.920. All right. So that is my target on EURJPY. Thanks for staying to the end of this video, and I hope I've been able to make your last month worth your while. Thanks for always tuning in. I wish you a successful trading week and month as a whole. And if you want to take your trading to the next level, you know what time it is. Make sure that you grab any of our mentorship programs. We are here for you. And if you're yet to subscribe, do so now. Like this video, share with like minds, and I'll see you in the next video.